Goedenavond, dames en heren. Voor het laatst in dit seizoen, uw gastheer Gert Berg.
Goedenavond. Ex-topsporter Raymond de Vries beschuldigt hoogspringkampioen Ruud Wielaert van dopinggebruik. En de sportarts Karsten uit Haarlem voegt eraan toe dat hij nu nog 150 topsporters regelmatig anabole steroïden verstrekt. Sportcartoonist Dick Bruinestein over Onder in de Beugel, Alles uit de kast en de dood of de gladiolen. De dochter van Margaret Thatcher, Carol, was niet gelukkig met haar moeder als minister-president. Ze is vanavond bij ons in Rotterdam. En, tot slot, de finale, de grote finale mag ik zeggen, voor de Karaoke Cup tussen Viola Holt en de 2 acteurs uit de Vlaamse pot. De jury, Lou van Rees en Jacques d'Ancona en Mary Michon, beslissen zometeen wie die prachtige bokaal voor het eerst mee naar huis mag nemen. De verkiezingen die volgende maand in Engeland worden gehouden zijn de eerste die ze rustig kan volgen. Want sinds haar 6e wordt haar leven door de politiek bepaald. Ma was altijd voor de partij en later voor het land op stap. Zonder de druk om te moeten zegevieren heerst er nu rust in huize Thatcher. De dochter van de Iron Lady, Carol Thatcher. How are you doing?
Hi, hello.
Your mummy is quite popular in Holland.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. I apologise for not being able to speak Dutch, but you know how bad we British are at languages, and you all speak English.
Ze klinkt ook hetzelfde, helemaal niet? Yeah.
It's very nice to be here. I've done many things in my life, Gert. I never thought I'd be the warm-up act before a karaoke competition, but who knows?
How is it always being the daughter of?
Well,
aren't you getting sick of that?
Well, I've got used to it, but the thing about politics is, even though my mother was Prime Minister for 11.5 years, it does eventually come to an end. And also, for Mum being Britain's first woman Prime Minister, my father really got all the attention. So I escaped quite nicely, thank you. No, what is it like? Some days you're on the red carpet, other days you're in the firing line, is all I can say.
Some people might say it must be heaven being the daughter of the Prime Minister. It helps you in getting a nice job. You're a journalist right now. Or is it the other way around, maybe?
I think some doors open and some doors close, honestly. Second-hand fame, i.e. you're famous because of your name, not because of what you've done, is, I don't know, do you have the game here? Snakes and ladders. You go up sometimes and you go straight down other times.
Did it help you anyway with your job, getting a job? Because you had your own talk show on the London radio, your own chat show.
I had my own talk show.
But the unions were against...
I had a bit of trouble with the unions. The thing about having a parent in politics as opposed to television or sports is that everybody has a view. And as Margaret Thatcher had quite strong policies, everybody had quite strong views. Gert, if I'd had a free meal for every taxi driver in London who told me, I think your mum should do so-and-so about the economy, Europe and so on, I would never be hungry again.
Was it because of your mother's job that you decided to leave the country and go to Australia? You lived there for 5 years.
Yes, it was partly that. It was much easier to start a journalistic career in a country where your mother wasn't well known, to be quite honest. And also, I wanted to go there anyway. I worked on a cattle station. I had a great time, so I guess it was just a way of pushing off somewhere else when you're young for a few years.
Escaping, maybe.
Escaping.
Yeah.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
What kind of mother is she? Was she a good mom?
She was a good mum. She was actually incredibly busy. I'm still astonished by the number of journalists who ring me up and say, what are your childhood memories? And I try to point out to them that if you're going to be Prime Minister, you don't sit around vacuuming the floors or doing the housework. You're generally out, you know, at work. So she was busy, is I think my main memory.
But she always told you that it's a bad idea for a working woman to have children, so she was against children for you.
No, she didn't. I worked it out, having had a working mother, even in this post-feminist age, how difficult it is to have it all. So when it came to my turn, I decided on the work and no children. It was as simple as that.
And your mom agrees with that?
Well, I have a twin brother, and he's married to a very beautiful Texan, and they have a 3-year-old. So I said to her, when it comes to being a grandmother, she's had a 50% success rate. So that's not bad, is it?
No, it's not bad at all, but doesn't it prove to you that it's not possible being Prime Minister and being a good mother at the same time?
No, no. I was grown up by the time she became Prime Minister, and all the time before, she made a huge effort to, combine both.
When you were 6,
I was a kid.
She was in politics already.
Yes.
So she was always away, probably.
No, she wasn't always away. She was quite often away. Politics, as you well know, is not a 9-to-5 job.
If you can choose right now between having a mother who's a Prime Minister and a mother who's just an ordinary mother, what would you choose?
Well, Gert, for 11.5 years, I had a mother who was the Prime Minister. Now, I've got an ordinary mother because she retired when she resigned in 1990. So I guess I've had it all ways.
It's a nice way to get out of this one, huh? Wasn't it difficult for you, knowing that your mother was #1 at the hit list of the PLO, IRA, some bad things happened in 1984, I think, in Brighton. Was the where the Tories had their meeting. Weren't you living in fear somehow?
She had very strong security, and I suppose I had every confidence in that. It didn't particularly affect me, it affected her much more. And of course you worry if you know that one of your parents is on every terrorist hit list. I mean, who wouldn't? You would.
Yeah. But she's still probably on these hit lists. Huh?
She still has security.
How about yourself?
No, I don't. I'm here. I got here. I'll get back again. No.
You don't need it. You don't need it at all.
No. She's finished now. I know Margaret Thatcher still has a very high profile, but she's not even running for Parliament in this campaign. So more or less, it's on to other people now.
There are bad things about having a mother who's Prime Minister, but I think there are some nice things about it as well. Eh? What were the most exciting people you met through Margaret?
Well, I tell you one of the nicest things, and I think you'll laugh, but the traffic in London these days is so bad that the parking space outside 10 Downing Street is really a useful thing to have. And one of the things I most miss now is not being able to drive my car into Downing Street, park outside, say to the policeman, just look after my car, please. That was a real privilege.
You met the Reagans?
Yes, and President Bush and Mitterrand. Oh, what I did, I quickly realized government hospitality in England has a very good wine cellar. So I used to put myself on the reserve list for all the banquets, because inevitably a VIP always drops out at the last minute. So I will be there saying, hey, I can take their place.
For example, Patty Reagan was quite rebellious.
I interviewed Patty Reagan, yes, at one stage, yes.
She was quite rebellious to her parents. You weren't. You were supporting them. Do you understand that children are rebellious against their parents because they want to live their own way and have a different world for themselves?
I quite understand children who are rebellious.
You weren't like that, huh?
No, well, look, my halo shines brightly, can't you see that? No, I think it's perfectly possible to agree with famous parents. Patty, as I remember, took great exception to, I think, Ronald and Nancy Reagan in some way or other.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if you do have famous parents, you shouldn't be obliged to toe the line. You are your own person at the end of the day. That's the bottom line.
Are you happy that your mom is not in politics anymore? I mean, she's in the House of Lords. She's going to be in the House of Lords.
She's not yet in the House of Lords.
But it's not as busy as it used to be. Are you happy that she's just an ordinary mom right now?
Well, she's actually writing her memoirs, and she's actually amazingly busy. So maybe she's not all that ordinary.
Are you going to write them for her?
No, she's going to do that on her own. I think that's probably where we would fall out.
Is she afraid losing the elections because there are elections April 9? Is she afraid losing them to the Labour?
I think it looks at the moment, given the opinion polls, that it's going to be very close indeed.
What are you voting yourself?
To wait. So what do I think?
What are you voting yourself?
I'll vote Conservative. It is actually a secret ballot, but never mind, since you asked. It's going to be very close. Of course she hopes that the party she led to victory 3 times will be returned.
We will see on April 9.
You will indeed.
Thank you very much for being here, dames en heren, Carol Thatcher.
Thank you very much.